that was a little bit premature on the music. I apologize out there. Sometimes I press the wrong buttons. My wife said that a few times in my life. So, hey, tonight we're kind of getting back into the to the weightlifting routine. Now we've had a couple of some collegiate level, but Preston, I've heard some great stuff about you, Coach. Coach Doherty's told me everything, right? He says that you're the real deal, and tonight we're excited to have you on the Coach Show, episode 20, brought to you by, what's that place called again? Riverside Resale, downtown Fort Madison. Preston, welcome to the show. It's exciting to have you tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Now, there's some. I wanted to talk at first about myths because I got two weightlifting coaches with me tonight. Ben Fry's not with us. He's got a sick kid and apparently a mad kid. But here it is. Ready? Lifting weights stunts your growth.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of research out there that's pointing in the opposite direction. Not really that it stunts growth, but more so that it doesn't. And not that it's going to make you grow taller by doing it, but it's not going to negatively affect you. And one of the best things that you can do from a developmental standpoint is start to add resistance to kids in elementary school. And it doesn't have to be like a bar on your back by any means, but kids that are fit, they're going to do well in life. And if you can build the habits early, I think there's a lot of good carryover to just how they're going to push themselves as an adult, even if it's outside of the physical realm, right? Like if it's at work or it's in the home or whatever it looks like, building the base of just being physically fit, being active. It's just good physical education.
And I agree with everything that you guys are going to say. I'm just throwing this out there, just to have a little fun at the beginning. Now,
yeah, I like that.
Baseball coach says you shouldn't be lifting on the day of a game.
Yeah. Well, check in with like LSU or Vanderbilt or TCU. They might be the best collegiate programs there are in the baseball realm, and they will literally go to the opposing team's weight room and lift day of game before the game. It is ingrained in culture, and if you haven't seen like Aaron Judge or a number of these guys that are
pretty big,
massive athletic dudes, there's a reason why Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa took steroids, man. If you're strong, if you're athletic, you're going to be really, really good.
I will throw out that without the steroid summer, with Mark McGwire and Sosa saving baseball, we wouldn't be having baseball right now. But anyway, that one was that was a fun one there. Okay. Kids should only do body weight exercises.
Progressive resistance exercise is what people are chasing. If you can't progress it, then it's probably not going to be worth it. And what that means is body weight will bottom out at some point. Like you're only going to get so much out of it. And eventually you'll need to be able to find other ways to progress that exercise. So I'm not saying body weight is bad. Actually, we program body weight all the time. More so it's the idea that we want to be able to progress it over time. So eventually, hopefully you're stronger than just your body weight. Then that's the chase. One more thing with that. People that can control their body better than their opponents will win games. Meaning you're going to have to be able to put enough force through your body to interact with the ground or interact with an opponent. And the one that produces the most force, normally the fastest, wins.
100%. Now, they shouldn't lift until high school.
Yeah, the big thing with this, I started like actually lifting 6th grade summer going into 7th grade. And I'd tell you, I would not change a single thing about that. I really like that time frame of actually starting an organized training program around the weight room. If you're waiting until high school, you're going to be a little bit late to the party. Here's what we try to do at Mount Vernon. We try to start earlier than that so we can squeeze another year of varsity out of you. Meaning most juniors and seniors, if you're primarily squared away on your team with juniors and seniors and they've been training for the last couple of years, they're going to be in a really good spot. What we try to do is we try to get to a point where our sophomores can contribute also. So we get one more year of varsity level competition for them. So by the time they get to their senior year, they're like super seniors, man. Like they've been around the block. They've had plenty of varsity experience. They're strong, they're agile, and they're ready to compete.
All right. You ready for the last one? This is kind of the fun, to kind of get this brain juices going, right? girls shouldn't lift heavy.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we do at Mount Vernon anyways. We train girls, guys, athletes, non-athletes, freshmen, seniors, everybody. They train and they train hard. And to be really honest, we're all on the same program. And you might think that's crazy too, but we could dive into that later. Girls definitely need to train heavy. It goes back to being able to produce force. And if you can't produce enough force, you're not going to be very good.
I thought he did pretty good, Coach Doherty. I'm going to let you, talk about the opening, but Preston Pedersen's a real freaking deal.
I told your Coach Banks, this guy's a wizard. Coach, thanks for coming on. I've had the pleasure of seeing you speak live several different times and have gotten to know you over the last few years and stuff. So I know a little bit about your story, but for our listeners, take us back. What got you into coaching? What got you into the strength world?
Yeah, I grew up in a coach's house. So both my parents are educators. My mom's an art teacher, or was an art teacher for really, really long time, however long it took until she retired. And my dad started out as an ag instructor and FFA advisor for the first decade of his career, and then switched to science. And during that time, my dad, even when he was an ag instructor, he was doing all the stuff for FFA, and he was a sport coach. He was coaching 3 different sports at that time. That dude was dedicated. His capacity to work is unreal. I don't know if I've ever seen another human like that. And because of that, we were at the school a lot. And I was around awesome coaches. I was around my dad for all those years. Got to grow up in a competitive household with a couple athletic brothers. And man, I love that time. I love that experience. And my high school coaches poured into me. There's a number of them: Dan Christensen, Steve Gilbert, Curtis Booth, Damon Boyd, Zach Clark. All those people poured into me, obviously alongside my dad. And then I got to go to Northwest Missouri State, and Northwest Missouri
pretty good
State
football program.
Yeah, they have a storied program. Maybe arguably one of the best coaches in football history, and Mel Churchma. And Mel, actually, he had stepped down so every one of his assistants could move up. And I think some people might think that's like, oh, it's just time for him to retire or something like that. Honestly, that's a selfless dude. Every single person on his staff moved up a position, and his longtime defensive coordinator took the head role. And he was the one that recruited me, actually, and his name was Scott Boswick. And Scott, I never got to play for. I got recruited by him, but he died in June of 2011. And before I was able to step on campus, I was in this limbo of like, who's our next coach going to be? We had this turmoil of a longtime Bearcat, and it rocked Bearcat Nation. And we rallied with a coach that had just moved to the offensive coordinator position. He took the head role, and man, my college experience was pretty crazy. Got to be on the team as a player for the 2013 national championship, and then as a coach in the 2015 national championship. And then my first year at Mount Vernon, they won another one in 2016. So kind of just a crazy run there. And football was amazing. The coaching experiences that I got there were really second to none. But the person that transformed my life and is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now as a strength coach is Joe Quinlan. And Joe pours into every one of the athletes that comes into his weight room. And kind of the unique deal was his wife was the head athletic trainer at the same time. And so you have these two, this couple, they're just pouring their heart and soul into the Northwest Missouri State athletes. And I thought it was pretty sweet, and I thought I wanted to do that too. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now.
2016, you had a pretty good squad. I remember you came down, and we felt pretty good. We were up 21-7. You ended up kicking our butts, but oh my goodness.
That 2016 squad was a bunch of people around the nation would know some names on that squad. So
we talked about a wrestling event that took place between another guy about 8 miles from you guys, right? Two pretty good linemen, I would say.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. They show the clip of Tyler pinning him. That was, I don't know if that was the last match that they had or not, but Tristan had beat him 5 times before that, and they never show any of those clips. So that's good for Tyler. Kind of stinks for Tristan, but it's the way it is sometimes.
I saw Tristan had commented on that on Twitter. It was awesome. Like, he's a competitor, right? Like,
oh man,
let's talk about the previous times, huh?
Oh yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, those are two crazy, awesome dudes. And Jack Cochran's another athlete in that 2016 team that man, he's playing for the Chiefs still. And man,
was he a tight end?
He's a linebacker. He's a linebacker. And
okay.
For us, he was about everything. He played about every position. But man, it was so fun to be around so many awesome kids early on at Mount Vernon. I remember I got hired in June, and I went with my athletic director to the baseball game, and I had never seen so many large humans in my life on a baseball field at the high school level. I was just like, oh my gosh, what is this just like normal at Mount Vernon? And turns out, like, those first 2 or 3 years, it was pretty normal. And there's obviously some ups and downs to high school athletics, and we got a lot smaller. 3 years from that point, we had a guard that weighed 160 pounds. And previously, it was some really, really large people. But that's just the way it is in high school sometimes.
Absolutely. What's the rivalry like with Solon?
It's been really fun just to be a part of that over the last 10 years now. Like in high school, I'd say we had rivals at Northwest Missouri State. Missouri Western was a rival. And I love that idea of, like, we're going to pump this thing up. Like, it's a fun way to draw the best out of your opponent, out of yourself. And you know what? No matter what the scenario is, it's always just going to be just a little bit more on the line, just a little bit more that you got to bring on those nights. And man, I love those opportunities. For football, man, we've gotten our butts kicked a number of times, but we did get them a couple times in there. And man, it's just a lot of fun to see our kids be able to compete at a high level, knowing that, there's generations of Mustangs and Spartans that have been at it. So it's pretty cool. Highway 1 rivalry there.
Absolutely.
All right, Didi, it's all yours.
Yeah, Coach, I want to kind of bring light to your day of learning that you did. First of all, that's such a cool thing. Inviting coaches from all over the place to Mount Vernon. And that was the first time that I had ever met you officially. And I think some of the things that stood out to me right away were you had your superintendent there talking, you had your principal talking, you had the athletic director talking, and then sport coaches, not just you. I mean, the buy-in is absolutely phenomenal. Will you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Maybe to back up just a little bit, I'd went on site visits. That's what Joe called them at Northwest Missouri State. And we did like intern swaps. And what I found was, man, if you want to go learn, you need to go. Like, if you want to go actually learn, a clinic is cool and it's good for thought stimulation. But if you actually want to see the real stuff, you got to go and actually go to people's places and see them in their element and see them with their real athletes doing the real thing. And I so appreciated the site visits that we did when we could hop in and see a group that was amazing. And then I had first seen high-level high school strength and conditioning under Ross Suizo and Baser Linwood High School in Kansas. And we had done an intern swap. So their interns had went up to Northwest Missouri State. Northwest Missouri State interns had went down. And you just got to see people in their element. And, man, it was so impressive. And that's actually when I decided that, you know what, I had never considered being a high school strength and speed coach. And I started to consider it after I met Ross and saw his program and just thankful for that opportunity. And it wasn't until, 2022 or 23 that we started doing the day of learning. I think we've had 8 or 9 of them. Maybe we're coming up on 10 of them. Normally we do one in the fall, one in the spring. Sometimes we'll do a couple of them if there's a lot of people that sign up. But really the thought is that we want people to come in and see the good, the bad, the ugly, hear from the stakeholders. Basically every stakeholder that we have outside of parents. Like, you can talk to kids, you can talk to our coaches, you can talk to our administrators, you can talk to our counselor. We just added our counselor into because he does a lot of our registrar type stuff, like our scheduling, our assistant strength and speed coach. Like, you're going to be able to talk to our people, and not that we do it right, but at least gives you like a little bit of an idea of like, how you could do it, or just some thought-provoking stuff. If you get in the car with 3 or 4 other people and you come see how it works, and then hopefully it stimulates conversation on the way there and on the way back of like what it could look like at your place. And I remember, I think you got there a little bit early that day.
Yep.
And it was me, you, and Tony Stewart sitting around talking. And man, if there's people that I want to hang out with, it's you, Tony, and just the opportunity just to talk strength and speed and what it looks like to do it for a long time in your community. Because that's something that I value about you, and it's something I value about Tony, of just pouring into the community that you love, and you want it to work. You want kids to be impacted, and yeah, that was fun.
It was. You're
going to have to ask another question, Derek. I'm spamming America right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of want to go beyond that. So you started the Iowa Strength Coaches Association, and you've got some great colleagues in there with you, and you made it a free membership and all of that. And I think that says a lot about you and what you're trying to do for the state and the surrounding areas. Again, just kind of giving you a platform here to talk about that, and hopefully drive membership and drive interest. So what got that started, and tell us about it.
Yeah. The NHS SCA is an amazing organization. It's the National High School Strength Coaches Association. And I would recommend that if you are not a part of that you hop on board there too. And Matt Siebold is our Iowa State Director. I think you're on his board, right, Coach Doherty?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there we go. So like the NHS SCA is serving our population, but they're doing it at the national level. And love that, but just wanted to make sure that we're getting served at the state level too. Not to say that the NHS SCA couldn't do that or hadn't done that in other states, but you'll even see like the NHS SCA president right now, his home state is South Carolina, and he has the same setup as what we do here in Iowa, where there's an Iowa organization and then there's the national organization. And what we found was, man, there are companies in the state of Iowa that are, they want to see high schoolers have a quality strength and speed, strength and conditioning opportunity in their high schools, right? And we have coaches that want to learn as much as they possibly can and bring that back to their communities. And we're just trying to find a good way to serve in those ways, and not to take the place of the NHS SCA in any way, but more so just like come alongside. And really what it came down to is when you get to put together a clinic, selfishly, you get to bring in people that you want to learn from, right? So I get to help put together this thing, and almost every single time it's because I want to learn from these people. So, just so we're up front with everything, we're a nonprofit. We try to get all the money to go right back to a ton of food, a ton of apparel, and really quality speakers. And that's the thought process behind it. And just so much learning can happen during those times. I'm thankful for the speakers that have come. I'm thankful for the companies that basically make the whole thing work, especially like Powerlift and Strength Coach Network. Team Builder has been there for a lot of it. Simply Faster. These are names that people know across the nation that are pouring into Iowa coaches, and it just makes it a pretty cool deal. Thankful for Jake Lewis. He helped me get the thing up and off the ground. And then Nate Graham hopped on board, and Nate's done an amazing job with that. And then when we're looking for like organization and how to do it and getting everything to work the way we want it to work, we brought on Jordan Sump too. That dude is an organizing dude. He does an awesome job of helping us out with all that stuff. So not that there couldn't be more roles, but man, when it comes down to just trying to get it going, those guys, they crush it. They do a great job.
Yeah, you guys definitely do. And I'll just say it. And I spoke at a conference this weekend, and I brought you guys up, and how you do everything is just, it's the best. Quite honestly, I'm not saying it because you're on here. It's my favorite weekend of the year. I just absolutely love it. So thanks for doing it. Yeah,
no problem, man. And with all humility, man, I want to say like, it's awesome to be able to serve the state of Iowa. The state of Iowa has given me so much, given my family a ton, and just thankful for the strength coaches that continue to show up and want to pour into their communities.
Awesome.
You know, I'm at a loss for words. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, all right.
That doesn't
So
happen
hey,
very often.
no. Let's talk purpose and philosophy real quick. So your purpose statement is powerful, engage, educate, and empower. What does that look like in action and not just words?
Yeah. Well, when we look at like anytime that you bring a kid in, there's a guy that we just had at the state clinic. Let's start there. Okay. His name's Tony Holler. He's a track coach, but he's spilling over into other realms a lot. And one of the best things about this profession of strength and conditioning, no, everybody's so willing to share, and everybody's so willing to. And when we put together like a clinic, and you bring in Tony Holler, and then he helps like reaffirm some of the things, but you just like you sit back and you're like, oh man, why do I do what I do? He had a really good his presentation was just called Teach, and man, it hit me hard. Both my parents were there too. It was the first time they'd been to a clinic, both of them together, and they're just watching how it all went. It was cool to they were both teachers, and they're watching Tony present on Teach. And one of the things that he was hitting on was just like captivating kids, right? And why you're doing what you're doing, and just like so many of these underlying things. And before you can ever educate a kid, before you ever can like actually get to the point where you can empower them, it's really important to engage them. And you know, like if you get into education, one of the first things that you learn is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where kids want, you know, like first they need like food, they need shelter, they need like these essentials, obviously, to feel like they have the things they need to learn, right? And then second from there, like they start to get to the point where like everybody wants a place where they can belong. And if you start to take care of those needs first, then everything else starts to be like, oh yeah, like I can do these things, or I can teach this way, or I can love, and it can be like hard coaching, you know, like those type of deals. And if you care for kids first, then you can hop into that stuff. So the first one of engaging is just making sure that you're coaching the student, you're helping the kid way before you ever look at like, you know, athletics or performance or anything like that. Then obviously we want to educate them. Maybe it's different than what it used to be, but like within our world right now, you have to tell kids why. You have to let them know the reasons why you're doing stuff. Because if they don't know the reason behind it, they're not going to be full in. They're not.
Did Google do this to us?
What's that?
Did Google do this to us?
Maybe. And that's one of the things that I believe like continuing education is such a big deal, is because you want to be able to have a reason. You want to be able to defend why you're doing it. You want to be able to compel kids that what you're doing is helpful for them. And really when it comes down to this idea of like educating kids, you know, like they're going to want to come to class and to be educated if they see it as valuable. And it's important that a coach / teacher shows them what are the valuable things that you're going to take away with it from this. How can this impact you for a lifetime? And then eventually you get to the point where like you're telling them the reason, then you just got to empower them over and over and over, create a culture where they want to come back to it. They want to put in the work. And when it's over, they're 4 years in high school, that it doesn't just stop. Like we're looking for lifetime wellness. We want kids that are going to be engaged in this stuff for a really, really long time. And I tell kids like, hey, it could be rock climbing and canoeing. I just want you to be active, right? I just believe that strength training might be the best training that you can possibly do. If you'd strength train and you'd sprint and then you do some like, I don't know, aerobic type of base, if that's elliptical or bike or stadium stairs or whatever you want to do, if you just do that 3 times a week for the rest of your life, you are going to be fitter, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be able to take care of yourself a lot longer. And when you're strong and you're healthy and you're confident, put those people out into a community, right? Like yes. That's what we want.
Yes.
We just don't want anybody like me, Doherty.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding anyway.
Here's what I would say though, is if a kid said that to me, right? They might not feel like they belonged or they felt like I was talking to them. And that may be the first foundational thing is like, no, I am talking to everyone. And I do want you to know you belong and you are here for a reason. Like I'm big on this. And I don't know where you guys are faith-wise, but really, like, when I believe that there's a purpose for
100%.
everything, and I believe God has placed me where I'm at for a particular reason. And I know every kid that walks into my door that they're there for a reason too, right? So maybe the first thing a kid would say is like, yeah, I don't know if he's talking to me. And it's like, no, like I want it to be for every single kid that comes through the door. But that, I know it was tongue in cheek. I know it was a joke, but
yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I
Dee Dee?
think I'm really lucky because I've been able to see you in action several times, and you have a great relationship with all of your kids. I love you have your question of the day and you're bouncing around and just talking to the kids, and it's sincere. It's not just something that you feel like you have to do. You can tell that the kids really value their relationship with you, and I don't know the kids, but all kinds of different interests and stuff. I mean, obviously you got the Jayce Jaspers of the world, and those kids they're dudes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've seen kids in there that are just early in their development, and you treat them all the same. And I think that culture is huge. So that leads me into my next question. I know that you're a culture guy. I mean, it's evident. And I know that you have, I don't know if it's a standard or it's you're saying pursuing excellence. What does that look like to you? How do you define it? Because I know you're not just a words guy. You define everything.
Yeah. The thought process is that's part of my mission. I want kids to be able to pursue excellence. All right. And when it comes down to it, I believe that we're called to be better than what we are right now. I mean, if God was done with this right now, then there wouldn't be much purpose to life, right? There's going to be a lot of tests. There's going to be a lot of trials, and to pursue excellence is to aim for our potential, and our potential is way out here, right? And that's the thing that we're chasing for every single day. So when we say pursue excellence, like sometimes it's hard to put a finger on it. It's more of a vision. Most of the time when people talk about a vision, it's like kind of this thing that you're striving for, but you don't know if you're ever going to reach for or reach to. And that's the same thing with like our potential. Is like, man, we're just going to see if we're on the right trajectory, and we're just going to keep on fighting for that. And as long as we're improving, like as long as we're on the right track, it's like, then I believe that then what we're doing is on mission, right? The other parts of the mission is like, we want to pursue excellence. We want to lead with integrity, because if we're pursuing excellence, that's great. But if we're not bringing people along with us, it's not that helpful, right? Like that's great if Jayce Jaspers wants to go be a dude, but if he's not pulling along Mikey Ryan, then it's not that cool, right? And if Mikey's not pulling on Will Goodlove, then it's not that cool, right? We want each one of those dudes and ladies, whoever the example is, to pull up their teammates, to pull up the people at the rack, to pull up the others in the classroom. And I think that's when it starts to be special. And then the last part of it is we want to just like make these behaviors part of our lifestyle, not just for now, but for our whole life. So that's a little bit of the thought process behind it. Man, we root a lot of our stuff in behavior, because I believe that all humans are able to learn. And the problem that we see right now in education, and not to be like the old man type thing, but what we see in education is kids are capable of learning, no doubt. So you can have A's in your class, but it does not mean you have A behavior. And what's going to make you actually go far in life is that your behavior is lined up the way it needs to be. What I mean by behavior, and I'm trying to be like obedience, but more so like, are you consistent enough to be able to do the little things well to get where you want to go? Like if we're actually going to pursue excellence, it's going to take a lot, right? And you're right now, wherever you're at right now, that's not where we want to end up. So by definition, you're going to have to change, and change is hard. And really what we're saying is you're not good enough yet. And that's hard too. It's a little shot at your ego. So like, and I have to fight this, right? Every one of us have to fight this of like this incremental gain is also extremely hard, because every spot you're changing, you might have to do something a little bit different. And sometimes I struggle or I flail through that. And I'm trying to do my best here too.
Absolutely.
What kind of sports are you actively playing right now?
Personally, I'm a PE teacher, man. I get to do it all every
play
day.
all the games.
I remember I had two PE teachers at Central Decatur. One of them was Dan Christensen, and Dan was my junior high football coach. Dan. Okay, there we go. He was my junior high football coach, and he was head wrestling coach, and everybody knows him from his wrestling background. And he actually got me out my senior year, our 72 pounder, when it used to be a 72 pounder for a weight class. He was ineligible the second half, right? Second semester. And I had weighed in, I'd done the body fat testing, I did all these things because we kind of just joked about it, right? But then it came to a point where like, hey, shoot, we need to fill a lineup. Can you do this? So I cut down. I was 185 pounds. I cut down the first time in my life ever cutting. It was a great experience. I think that's weird, but I liked it. It was fun. It was a competition, right? And I cut down too far. So it was a nice bump up. Then I got the 2 pound allowance quick, and I was wrestling, right? It was the first time I'd ever wrestled, and I was learning, and it was so fun. And so now I try to stay, ahead of the curve with all this stuff, where, I try to wrestle with our kids. I try to play basketball. I try to throw the football around, throw baseball, like just playing, man. I enjoy playing. So I don't know if you count any of those as competitive, but I run around a lot.
Did you graduate from Central Decatur?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So, here's another throw out there, guys. So I actually worked at Survivor Technologies in Leon, Iowa.
Let's go.
In the 90s.
That's awesome. So tell me some people that you might know.
Oh, man. I mean, the bad thing is, I used to know all of them.
Yeah.
But this is awesome.
Yeah, Leon, Iowa. Just, you guys have some background, like, where I'm from. Like,
yeah.
It's a 70% free and reduced rate in Leon right now. At Mount Vernon, it's closer to 7%. So there's 10 times more poverty where I'm from.
You see they have turf now, though?
Yeah, listen, I'm telling you, this is a community that loves its school and does amazing things. They have an awesome hospital, an awesome square, and an awesome school. And there's not a whole lot of money being made. And there are some people that care in that community a whole ton. Yeah. And we went back for Easter weekend, man. And man, every once in a while, you're just like, man, this is really cool. And we saw a lot of our old friends. We got to go to church at my wife's church that she grew up in, and we got to see everybody. It's just pretty sweet.
They got the best Dairy Queen in the state, dude. Come on.
I love that.
I graduated from Lamoni. Let's see, it would have been a couple years after Venture Vinyl shut down. And then Doug Mills. Have you ever heard of Doug Mills?
I don't know if I know Doug.
Okay. Eric Paget.
Yep, I know Eric.
Over there. Yeah.
Eric Paget was my middle school math teacher.
Eric Paget and I worked at Rubbermaid Corporation in Centerville, Iowa in the mid-90s.
Wow. That's crazy.
Small world, man.
It is cool.
I think it's awesome. Leon's got a hell of a bowling alley too, man.
Listen, that bowling alley was cool. We'd load up the bus. We'd go do it. We'd turn off the computers. You scored it yourself, all that type of stuff. I would love to have a bowling alley in Mount Vernon, but I'm telling you, it might be even better now. There's not a bowling alley. It's just a really, really good Mexican restaurant. So I miss the bowling alley, but it is a really good Mexican restaurant.
And not to mention, Didi, maybe it's a trip that all three of us need to make this summer, but the Grand River, you want to go catch some catfish. That's the place to do it too. So anyway, sorry, I went in a crazy direction there, but it's just amazing how intertwined life is, man.
Totally.
Absolutely.
All right. Didi.
Kind of go back to something you said. You were talking about lead with integrity. And I think leadership, people say buzzwords with culture and all that. It's not a buzzword to me. To me, it's vital, right?
Right.
How do you teach kids? What is your process on teaching kids to lead with integrity?
Yeah, man. If there's a podcast I want to be on, it's this one right now. Okay. And
boom.
Mostly it's because I believe that this is the X factor. When it comes down to it, if you want a team to be good, if you want a school to be good, if you want a community to be awesome, the culture is a huge aspect of it. It's like how you interact with people. It's your behavior. The hardest thing in life is human behavior. And to be able to try to speak into that and give kids opportunities to learn and to live that out, I think is oftentimes over said, like you said, is kind of becomes a cliche culture. Mm-hmm. But also everybody knows it. something only becomes a cliche because it's talked about a lot. So everybody realizes it. It's just taking the time to do it. And what we do is we steal a lot from Tim Kite. Rest in peace. Tim Kite just has an amazing setup of what he calls the R factor. So I call it, like, I think culture is the X factor. He says really what it comes down to, how you respond is what matters most, because in that, so you guys probably have heard this before. It's a huge thing in sports psychology. Tim Kite kind of took it, and a lot of people would attribute to him because of how much he talked about it. But there's this saying called E plus R equals O. And it's how life works. It's event plus response equals outcome. And events we have no control over. Response is the only thing that we actually have control over. And outcomes we can influence by a good response. Doesn't mean we'll get the outcomes we want, but we can positively influence them, or negatively, or whatever. We can influence them. And what we find, though, is if we can dial in on the controllables. So you might hear a parent or a teacher or a coach or whoever say, hey, control the controllables. We narrow that down to two things, and then we accidentally make a third one because I deal in threes. But what I want in a response is I want attitude, effort, and discipline. So attitude, A&E, is what most people say, control the controllables. But if you just talk about attitude and you just talk about effort and you don't do it ever consistently, then you're probably not going to get where you want to go. So we add in discipline. And the funny thing about it, I like acronyms too. I like word illustrations, and AED is what kickstarts your heart. So if you're dead and you need revitalized, your attitude, your effort, your discipline is now a defibrillator also. So the thought process is, a lot of people say, hey, we want to focus in on good attitude, but they never define it. Or they want to focus in on good effort, but they never define it. In the same way, people talk about discipline, they also think it's like constricting or less freedom. And Jocko Willink, somebody that probably you guys know too, he talks about discipline equals freedom. It's actually the opposite of what people think. So when it comes down to it, we just want to define out each one of those things. And so we have under each one of those, attitude, effort, and discipline, we have three things that help define it. And where this stuff came from, where I started to go down this road of like, man, I'm having some framework, is Tim Kite, Gary Schofield, and Jeff Jones at UNI now. He's an Iowa boy that's back in Iowa. I'm happy for him. Those guys helped to really structure the way I thought about things. And then now we just try to hammer down on what's our response look like? And can we do that at a high level? And if we can control the controllables as well as we can, like as the punches roll, can we do the best that we possibly can in those things? It's going to give us a good opportunity for outcomes.
That's awesome.
I'm looking through the questions. I'm just still kind of taken aback, Derek, that
I told you he's
well,
elite.
No.
When I messaged him and I said, we want elite guys on there, he said, I don't know if I fit that, but he absolutely does. So
absolutely. And
what can you expect from a Leon boy, man? Like that's you gotta come to expect that.
It's kind of like a Centerville kid. It's we're hardworking class. You know what I mean? We got to bust our butts to get anything done, right?
Hey, do you want to know one more name that you might know? Because his dad had a chiropractic office in Centerville. Yeah, Heffron. So Dan Heffron is one of his sons, and Dan was the chiropractor in Leon. And guess who worked out with me for basically my whole junior high and high school career? Was from 6 to 6:30. I got to do all the crazy things that Dan Heffron could think of. And once it got to 6:30, that's when I started the strength training program that our high school did. So I spent a lot of time with Dan. Dan still lives in Leon, and he helped mold me, shape me, and turn me into kind of a different mindset for athleticism. I really appreciated that time with him.
God rest his soul. His dad. I used to go to him. And, when I lived in Leon for a year, I went into Dan and I was like, dude, you got to take it easy on me, man. You're going to break my neck.
Yeah. He can crack you up, man.
Dude, I was a little nervous. I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Yeah, that guy was very, very strong. I'm sure he still is. He's very strong.
Oh, man.
Go ahead.
It's all yours, Dee.
Oh, okay. I'll go.
Sorry, man.
No, all good. So what would you say? You said that you like to go in threes. So what are your three non-negotiables in the weight room?
That's a good question. So we do when we talk about non-negotiables, oftentimes my mind hops to behavior stuff still. And so like on our list, we on the door, yeah, there I see Cody Mathewson. His something popped up. So did Brent Butcher there.
Yeah, we got Brent and Cody now.
Yeah.
Now, see, here's
Both
the deal
great
with
dudes.
Cody. Cody doesn't follow me on Facebook. Chuck Banks, all right, Cody? All right.
I got to see
Well,
him this weekend. Good guy.
Yeah, he is right. There's a lot of he knows I learned about everything I did from high school and then from Northwest Missouri State. Those are some pretty awesome things. Hey, Cody.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I do with these non-negotiables is we just try to make sure that our kids understand from the very get-go that behavior is what's going to propel you to where you want to be. And so one of our non-negotiables that we'll have is that we'll live out like the standards that we have that are tied to our grade book. And so our 3 that we have in our grade book is vision, which is being able to set goals, be able to reflect on those goals, and then also like along the way. So here's the 3 is set the goal, check for progress along the way, and reflect on it once it's done. Those 3. Okay. Within performance, we're going to strive to be able to get better at strength, speed, and power. And oftentimes the way that we attack our workout, our response when we have an event of like, hey, it's time to train is going to try to be at this high level, and strength, speed, and power are the 3 things underneath that. And then the 3 things that kind of shore up our commitment standard is what you heard me talk about before: attitude, effort, and discipline. And those are kind of the framework or our standards that we use within the grade book, which end up being the non-negotiables because they're literally graded on those each day, each week, each phase, each semester.
That's awesome.
Now, how much technology have you, like put in, cause,
Yeah.
and the reason I say that is because, Dede, he's got to be thinking about this crap at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Sport performance is pretty awesome, man. Athletic performance is, it's endless. So you can continue to always learn, man. And technology, I think, is an amazing tool. Obviously, we want to incorporate it in a way that isn't drinking from a fire hose. And I'm a proponent for tech, but I want it to be as dumb as possible. And the reason I want that is like, I'm cheap, first of all, so I don't want subscriptions. I hate account management. Like I hate having to got a new kid, got to add this person in, just had a graduating class. Now I'm going to delete these people forever. Like they were never part of my life, so we're still old school in that we give out papers, we give out folders. We still fill out those things, and we'll input data into an iPad. So we do both of those things. We have jump lasers and speed lasers and little devices that measure bar speed. And we have a treadmill that kicks out miles per hour and what it looks like for us to be able to get time to top speed. And we have like this mat that measures reactivity. It's a reactive strength index. And there's so many things tech-wise that we use, and it helps like build this trust in the program, and kids see like, hey, we're investing in these things, and we see these things as valuable. And we want instant feedback. Like that is such a big deal for hooking kids on like improvement, is like giving them a reading right then, almost like a video game or driving a car, right? Like we always have instant feedback in front of us, but I never want to drown in that data. And I almost want it to be dumb enough that like you just switch it on and it just works. And if it doesn't just switch on and just work, then oftentimes when I have a full classroom of kids, I'm going to get frustrated with it, and I'm not going to use it anymore.
Dede, the chips, right? These kids walk away with those chips all the time.
Yeah. Free lap. Yeah. They always forget that they have them clipped to their belt, and it's fun chasing them down.
Free lap. Man, those chips are expensive too. You gotta make sure you get all those back.
Right. That's why I always tell them, I will not be mad if you accidentally take it. I just want it back. So don't be afraid to bring it back to me. I'll be happy actually.
Brent posted, Preston, when you decide to hit the keynote speaker trail, I want to be your agent. Okay. Liquid gold. Great session, Chuck and Dee Dee. Hey, we appreciate it, man. It's guys like you that listen and share out. And also Cody Matheson, I sent you a damn request, so you better click it, man.
So Coach Butcher, he's one of the original strength coaches in the state of Iowa. He's pushed a lot of programs forward. I'm sure you guys know him well, but man, it was pretty cool that like at Dallas Center Grimes, when we started the ISCA, he was very open. He's like, hey, yeah, you guys can host it here. You can do this. We've got this available. They had like a double header going on one night. They shifted things, or we shifted things around them, and they were totally cool with it. And yeah, just thankful that we're able to do that. Thanks, Brent, for all the.
He's a great dude. So I don't know if you know this, Preston. He was the AD at Fort Madison for a little bit. And
he was. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I knew he was at North Scott. Obviously Dallas Center Grimes. I didn't know his other stops.
Yeah. So I got a coach with him. He helped me with DBs like my first couple of years, and I learned so much from him. He's still awesome, but he was. I
think that was back in Chuck Banks' AD age.
It might have been. Might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pen and paper on contracts,
He'll be in town this week. He messaged me last week and said he's going to be in town to check out Fort Madison's facilities and stuff.
That's
I'd
great.
love to see him. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'll miss him, but
why?
I'm going golfing.
What?
Yeah, I'll be in the Ozarks this weekend golfing.
Oh, that's right. Hey, Brent,
my one vacation a year.
Oh my goodness. And yeah,
Preston knows strength coaches don't get vacations, man. So
yeah,
there's an in season and an off season for every sport, but when you're a strength and speed coach, it's limited. It's limited.
Yeah.
Do you get 2 weeks off a year?
Oh man, I get more than Coach does. So I shut things down. I didn't used to, but now I do a better job of shutting things down. If we need to keep things running, I've got some really awesome coaches that hop in and will run stuff. Coach Whitman, my colleague here, he's the man. At the Day of Learning, you get to see like how he does stuff with middle school. He does high school. He does our lifetime wellness. He's our head boys track coach. So basically, I got another guy I can lean on, which is
watching you guys at the Iowa Strength thing. It was like peanut butter and jelly, man. You guys,
it's
cool little tandem.
He's actually, I mean, like I was getting close to burnout for a little bit there, and he revitalized me, man. He does a great job.
Speaking of burnout, and I've seen it, the taxing stuff that high school weight trainers are, that they go through. I see it in Derek Doherty's face, almost on a daily basis. I go in and check on him. I'm kind of the old fart, hey, how you doing? I'm okay. Yeah, right. I can tell. But what do you do for yourself? Like for your mental health, because it's important.
Yeah. Well, first of all, man, like for me, I got to be sourced in something bigger than myself. I got people that pour into me. I've got some mentors that are great. I've got some dudes that come alongside me and push me. And those guys, without them, I wouldn't be able to function the way that I function. My wife is a sanctifying agent in my life. She makes me better in about every way. And oftentimes I see things almost opposite from her. And for whatever reason, every single time she just brings some truth, some honesty, and a really, really good perspective that's made me grow. And without getting like filled up, like burnout, oftentimes what happens is either the flame gets smothered or it gets weak or whatever. And when I got people that are pouring on, lighting a fire within me, man, it's a lot easier. And man, I just came from church before this thing, man. Like I'm sourced with people that want to drive others to be better. And without that, I would not be rolling with what I'm doing right now. Also, Coach Whitman, just being able to ask him questions, to talk through stuff, to make sure that things are going in the right direction, to talk through a number of different things. And sometimes he does the same thing back to me too, which is fun, just problem solving together. That's so incredibly helpful. I mentioned before, my dad's work capacity was unreal. And he learned it from his dad, who was a farmer. And man, there's something to be said about just being able to go to work and enjoy what you're doing and just give glory to God as you do it. And man, when it comes down to it, I pray that when it's all said and done, that I did it for the right reasons and that I kept on, staying in the fight.
That's awesome, man. I keep saying that. That's awesome because it is. Like, Coach is the man for sure.
And listen, guys, like, I enjoy this. Kids laugh, like they know that this is what I want to do. Like, I tell them it's my dream job. And like, I didn't know I was going to grow up to be a PE teacher. Like, I was thinking I was going to be a college football coach somewhere around the nation. And then eventually it changed to when Joe poured into me, it changed to like, I'm going to be a college strength coach. And then eventually it's like, man, I want to be a high school strength coach. And the only position in Iowa that year for a strength coach was Mount Vernon. And
wow,
it's pretty crazy, pretty awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
And how many programs did you or how many times did you have to say, yeah, he's not my dad?
No kidding.
When Lance was in.
Yeah, I tell people that Lance is a good dude, and I'm probably related to him, but it's probably like back in Denmark. It's not a close one, but man, there's not too many Pedersens around here.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to figure it out, but when you say Central Decatur, I'm like, holy crap. See?
Yeah, that's a common one. That sometimes they'll refer to me as Lance's son, and really, like in Eastern Iowa, that's probably it's Butch and Lance are the Pedersens. So in Southern Iowa, though, I'm from John. John's my dad.
Yes, he's the Southern Iowan.
Yes,
See?
exactly.
See, I think I'm the only one with an accent, Coach Doherty.
Centerville thing.
Oh.
So real quick, Coach, we talk about you guys a lot because again, I've been able to see it personally, and you know what it's like when kids are hearing from one person all the time. Describe Mount Vernon's culture.
Yeah.
I want our kids to hear it from you.
Well, here's one of the things that is incredible to me is the care factor here is unreal. It's hard to walk into a classroom or a gym or an arena and anything that we do where there's not people that just care immensely. Like right now, our spring musical is getting rolling. The amount of time and effort that they put in is unreal. And the guy that runs it, the director, he cares so unbelievably much. And so like and our band director, I sat in his class the other day, listened to our kids play, and it's like, it moves you, right? Like it's so good. And then he stops, and one of his former students, he used to teach at Benton, one of his former students was killed in a car accident. And he goes, guys, I just want to stop. They were just transitioning to the next song and stuff. He's like, just wanted to let you know that like, I care about you. And man, I don't know if I say that enough. And so like, not only do they care about their content, but they care about their kids, right? So like in Mount Vernon, it doesn't matter if it's academics, arts, or athletics. We have people that like genuinely want to be there and they want to give their best. And I don't know, it's not a common thing. And it was not, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a small piece of this thing. I did not build it. I was not a part of it before. Like and I would love to be able to tell you, yeah, this is the secret sauce other than just caring. I remember one of my mentors here, his name's Ed Tim. He was a longtime head coach and a state championship basketball coach. And I remember he came in, it was one of my first days teaching at Mount Vernon. He came into my office and I think I'd met him maybe one or two times prior to that, possibly, just like, this is like 10 years ago. And he walks in and he goes, Preston, I want you to know, no matter what else happens, like if your day's going well, not going well, if it's not going, like if you're trying to get these things done, whatever it is, the thing that you have to remember is that the only thing that matters to kids is if you care or not. Like you care about what you're doing and you care about them. And that was a mentor walking in and saying that. And then you just see like our coaching staff across the board, their care factor is unreal. And it was in their own competitive life, and it spilled over. Like our head volleyball coach, she played collegiate volleyball. Our head cross country coach, he ran at UNI. Our head football coach, he played at UNI and then played in the NFL. Our head wrestling coach, he just retired, but he wrestled at Drake. The other wrestling coach, he wrestled at Cornell. Our boys track coach ran at Wartburg. Our baseball coach played football and baseball at the Division I level at Kent State. Our softball coach played at Central. Our principal was a dual athlete at Central College, a football player and a track athlete. Our athletic director played at Wartburg and then was drafted by the Expos. Like there are people that not only do they care like for the kids and everything, but they were doing it at a high level too. Like, right. And there are other coaches I forgot in that list, but like, man, like it's kind of like at Northwest Missouri State. I don't know if Cody's still on here, but like, there are just so many people that they just believed it. They willed it. Like that 2013 year that we won it down in Alabama, the semifinal, we shouldn't have won that game. But it was like nobody on the sideline thought we could ever lose. Like even when we were down, we're like, we're going to win this thing. And that type of belief, it changes. It changes how you can operate.
You know,
that was a really, really that was like a political answer.
That was great. And I mean, you see it. I watch a lot of the Bearcats stuff on YouTube. Just didn't know much about them personally, and then find out that you played there, and a couple other people that I've come in contact with, and I'm like, man, the way that you guys talk about this program lets you know that it's special, right? Like, I started watching their stuff, and holy smokes, man.
Well, listen to this. I was just texting with a linebacker. He was a year after me. Okay. His class. So the year after me, they had more national championships than they had losses. They had 3 national championships. So 2013, 2015, 2016, and only 2 losses. And that whole span, that whole time.
That's unreal.
That level is just hard to be able to reach that, but then sustain that. And Ferris State, you know, if we're talking Division II, Ferris State's the one that's doing it right now. I'm hoping the Bearcats find their way back to that. But man, it's pretty incredible to see that level of success. And then you see like what Ben McCollum's doing at the University of Iowa. And I mean, like that dude's a Bearcat through and through. His mantra is impose your will and culture wins. Like you think about like what's going to matter in an Elite 8 appearance. It's like these people are willing themselves into this. I watched, just a sidebar here, I watched the Illinois-Iowa game, and Illinois was better athletically all the way around.
Yeah.
They were, okay? Then I went and watched the Illinois-Michigan game at Illinois, and Michigan was like that same level up from Illinois. And then Michigan goes and plays Iowa, and Iowa still will hang around with Michigan. Yeah, it's just unreal to me the way that they can put themselves in a position just because they believe in a system, they believe in how it works. And like that type of belief, man, it came from this small Division II, Maryville, Missouri. You know, I'm a small town Iowa boy going there, and just, it changed a lot of things.
You know, what's crazy is this shows went, you know, inherently way too fast.
Yeah.
So, Preston, we're going to have you back on, you know. There's a lot more to discuss.
Absolutely.
I think that about everything that we talked about there, that was about all we had, man.
Oh, no. We got some more Leon talk.
That can come on.
No, really appreciate you coming on. Now, you got any shout outs?
Man, my wife, before I came here, she was putting to bed a couple of our kids. I got one of them down. Without her, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. She's awesome. The people at Mount Vernon, we live 3 hours away from our hometown. Both me and Emily are high school sweethearts. We're from Leon. We wouldn't still be here unless we had people that cared about us. So thankful for that. And really, I enjoy the opportunity just to be able to talk about our Mustangs. So shout out to our kids and, you know, the Mustangs that are keeping rocking and rolling each day. It gives me a job to do, man.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we really appreciate you coming on. Everybody, you know, this is show number 20, you know, and I don't even know what season we're on, Dee. We'll just keep counting them from here. We're out.